I don't know what this icon is on the screen, but hello everybody. This is our Last of Us Part 2, or Season 2, Episode 1 review. So, yeah, my name is the Eclipse Kid, and hopefully you are a new watcher. I need some new watchers. Please, ZXR, give me some new... Anyways, so, obviously, let's give a little bit of background. The Last of Us, everybody knows it pretty much. Very iconic and impactful video game. Survival game made by Naughty Dog 2013. One of the best story games out there. And I only recently played this game, a couple months ago, and I'm almost done the second one. The second one matters a lot more today. Yeah, but first one, masterpiece. No notes and story-wise, gameplay-wise, it can get repetitive, but it's still really good. Now, where is it? Let's look for it. The Last of Us Part 2. So, this first episode, I think, was an okay start. It was a very slow burn, and I think it could have benefited from a 2-episode premiere, because this episode, just by itself, feels a little bit underwhelming. But you know why it's okay? Or at least right now? Because, dang, there's some good moments. So, let me start, actually, with, I'll start with Joel. I will start with Joel. Because, obviously, there's some controversy surrounding this actress, Bella Ramsey, as Ellie. I'll give my 2 cents on that in the last part of the video, after I'm done with the actual episode. So, I'll get into the controversy later. But Joel, in this season, I kind of like how they've changed his character up a little bit. How Pedro Pascal's kind of made it his own version. He's a little less grizzled. He's a little more humbled now. He's an old man Joel. He's like the foreman, builder man. He's like a town elder pretty much. And everybody seems to love him. Everybody's cool with him. Except Ellie. For the obvious reason, right? And another cool thing I thought they did was Dina. Let me pull up Dina real quick. So in the game, there's a character named Dina, who in the show's played by Isabella Merced. She is the love interest for Ellie in the game, right? Same thing here, that they're obviously setting up as we get into near the end of the episode. Also, I want to touch on, I'm getting sidetracked, but Dina, she really has, no relationship with Joel, at all. It's really just Ellie and the rest of their friends, which is not a lot. A little bit of relationship with Tommy, but not really a lot. But in this, they kind of, establish, mentorship-ish with Joel and Dina. I kind of like that. That gives a little more for Dina to do and a little more for Joel to do this season, So, yeah, and then we'll get into the stuff with Ellie later. But I think cool part of it. Another part of Joel in this is the therapy scene, which I really like, and I'm really interested to see how they expand upon this. So there's this scene near the beginning of the episode where it's revealed that Joel is actually going to therapy. Now, like I said, this version of Joel, it kind of makes sense that he would want to start going to therapy and get better, right? Especially because of his relationship being tarnished with Ellie. And he's like, I don't understand what's happening. I guess, and also, I forgot to mention, he just says to Dina, right? It's I guess I never really got here with my kid, so I guess we're just figuring it out, which he obviously knows that's not the case. So this therapist points out, it's no. It's he corrects him, too. This isn't your daughter, right? A surrogate daughter, but still. So, and then she's like, you're hiding something. I know you're hiding something. So, I'm going to tell you what I'm hiding. You killed my husband, Eugene, and I very much hate you for it. I know you had to do it, but, I still hate you for it. Now, Eugene in the game is just a character mentioned. He didn't really get any, you just know that he died, and that Joel probably had something to do with it. Maybe. I don't really know. And that's really all we knew about him. But in this, Eugene was cast, and we saw him in the trailer. And it looks like a scene where a surrogate scene where Joel is about to kill him for some reason. Whether it's because he got infected, or it's because Joel told everybody he got infected and had to silence him, we don't know yet. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But it's like, and then the therapist says, "Did you hurt her?" And then Joel's like, "No, I saved her." Beautiful. And that's really all of the Joel part of the episode until the end. So I will get to the Ellie side now. Okay, now to the Ellie side of the episode, which is, it's more Ellie centric for obvious reasons. But here, Ellie is 19 now. It's 5 years after the first season, just like the game. And for what they did, for Bella Ramsey only aging 2 years in real life, and she looks young already, I feel like they did an okay job aging her up. Like, they made a change to her features. It's like the tattoo covering the mark, obviously. Like, the longer hair. And kind of the makeup a little bit, too. We'll get to that scene later. But we start this, actually, no. There is one last part after this. The dance scene, which I want to touch on, that I don't know how they're going to handle this. It's going to be a gut punch. But anyway, so Ellie is sparring with this one big guy, and it's like, first you're like, how the heck is she being this big guy? And then they tap out, and then Jesse, hold on, let me pull him up. Before you even say anything, the only good picture of this I could find was on Threads, so don't judge me. But Jesse is this character in the games who has had this on and off relationship with Dina, and it's just been all over the place. It seems they're gonna be on and off soulmates, but then obviously Dina actually brings Ellie in, so that's over. But that's a different part of it that we'll get into probably in the later episodes. But Jesse here, he's like, all right, that's enough. And he's like, he was holding back, right? He would have knocked you out. And then Ellie's like, stop treating me like a little kid. I'm 19. And it's like, I don't get that angstiness. It's like, it doesn't make much sense to me. It's like, of course he would have knocked you out. And then we have a scene where Ellie, just like the game, like Ellie and Dina go on a patrol. And, oh wait, hold on, I forgot the scene. So there's a scene that's very much like the game. And the game was a flashback where Ellie and Tommy go sniping, and they talk about, like, and also, like, she still, like, respects and is cool with Tommy, but not Joel. Joel's, like, the only one for obvious reasons. They kind of talk about that. They touch on that a little bit. Like, you can't be reckless. Just because you're 19 now doesn't mean you can be all doing your own thing and being reckless. We have rules here. And she's like, I make my own rules. I am her. She didn't actually say that, but, like, that's kind of like the over-exaggerated version of what had happened. It's interesting this sniping scene was actually in the main plot and not a flashback. Because as a flashback, it just builds more how the relationship with Ellie and Joel just deteriorated so sadly and slowly. But I digress. But Tommy here, he's still cool. I like him. And now, let's get to the scene I was actually trying to talk about earlier. So there's a scene, just like in the game, where Dina and Ellie go on this patrol, and Ellie's still at this complex, I make my own rules, I don't know how to follow them. They make the barbecue joke about, like, the bear that got taken down by all the clickers and stuff. This show's recording. But they go into the supermarket just like in the game, and they do a cool reference where she uses the bottle to distract the clicker, and then she goes in and stabs it. That was cool. And then I love how they portray the stalker in the supermarket. It's like, it shows them obviously gaining intelligence, but they're still, like, learning it. It's like, is this how I do it? It's like, is this how I do it? Is this how I, like, be tactical? And it's like, it's scary how, like, the fungus is learning. So the stalker attacks Ellie, and Dina shoots it. And Ellie gets bit, but obviously she's immune, so she'll be alright. But when she gets home, she cuts the wound into a different shape, so if anybody sees the scar, they'll just think it's like a stab wound or something, or like a scratch from something else. Very smart of Ellie. Yeah, but now I think that's all until the last part of it, which is a very important part. So let's get into that now. So I forgot to mention one very important part. When Ellie and Dina go back to like the council of the town with Tommy and Maria on it, they're like, there's more and more infected every day. This is a problem. And so you can't be, and Tommy said, you can't be going out on your own, doing your own thing. And then Ellie's like, well, what would you and Joel do? And Tommy's like, that's different. Then Maria's like, how? It was funny. It was a funny scene. But this brings up the plot line that the fungus has entered the town, and not spores, that the cordyceps virus is expanding. As we see in the trailer, there's a giant horde coming towards the town. So that's gonna become a problem soon. And like we started setting that up. So that was a really funny part and a really important part. Let me get back to it. So I forget when in the episode, but we see this scene where Joel goes into Ellie's like home, the garage or whatever. And they're like, it's a really short conversation. It's like, hi Ellie, hi Joel. You still playing this guitar? Sometimes it's really sad because the guitar being all dusty and needing strings being repaired is just like a representation of their relationship right now. It's really dang sad. And also, one thing I thought was weird that I'm gonna hold off on completely complaining about because they might add it in later. The scene where it's only, I think, a couple months after, the scenes where Joel tells Tommy about what he did at the Fireflies, and the scene where Joel gives Ellie the guitar lesson. Those are two very key scenes that they left out of the first episode. And I think they have to add them at some point in, but I'm not sure. But their relationship is not very bueno right now. So, yeah, I just forgot to put that in. I don't even know where this is going in the video. So this scene in the game is like much later, more towards the end. Here it's like right at the start. We actually saw it at the end, where Ellie like claims that Dina kissed her, and then we'll just go over the scene. Anyway, so going over this scene, Jesse and Ellie. This is the New Year's party. Like Jesse and Ellie, they're staring at Dina. And it's like, wow, she looks good, doesn't she? Then they're like, yep, yeah, definitely. And then Ellie's like, I bet you get that together in 2 weeks. And it's like, nah, I'm good. And then Dina comes over to Ellie and she's like, no, come over here. Like, let's dance. And then she does the corny thing from the games. Like, sorry, I cannot get my thoughts together. Just the corny thing from the games. Like, how bad do I smell? It's kind of sweet, but it's also very corny. And then they do their little corny but sweet exchange. They kiss. And then this old guy, Seth, is like, hey, this is a family event. Like, get out of here. This is a church. And then as they say sorry and they're walking away, he's like, this is a church. And then he says a very bad word. A very bad word. I think it's a Jewish word. So, and then it's like, what'd you just say? Like, and Ellie's about to go over to Seth and probably, I don't even know. But then Joel, in my opinion, which was a W move, like, shoves him to the ground. It's like, get the heck away from her. Like, get out of here. And then Maria's like, all right, let's go. Oh, I forgot to mention some things. I'll put them back in editing. But, yeah, so, like, and then Ellie's like, I don't need your help. Back to this complex, like, I'm an adult. I don't need your help anymore. I'm not a baby. I'm not a kid anymore. And then, another part I thought was so sad. When Ellie is going back to the house, Joel's outside playing the guitar, just waiting for her, seeing if she gets home safe. Just so silent, just so sad, man. And then, like, yeah, it's really sad, especially knowing what's probably going to happen next. So, they're are two key parts of this episode that I skipped over. The very beginning scene and the very ending scene, which I'll go over right now. So, again, I obviously said there's a very key part, two key parts at the very beginning and the very end of the episode, where it's this girl named Abby, excuse me, that was nasty, and some of her friends who were fireflies, and we see them at that hospital right after the season 1 recap, at that hospital with all of the tombs, with all the graves for the fallen fireflies. And in the game, this was like a surprise. It's like, oh, that's what these people are here for. But in this, it's literally revealed right away that, no, we want to get Joel. We want to get revenge on Joel for what he did. Because he killed all these people for his own self. Like, and sacrificed the entire world possibly. Even though they don't even know a cure could have been made. But that's not the important part. The important part is we set this up already. It is a key driving force of the plot. It is the driving force of the plot. But I think it's weird that they set it up in this way. Like, who are you people? It was so sudden and like random. And at the end of the episode, just like in the game, it shows them like in the snowy mountains. Like they see Jackson, and they're about to go up in there. I don't even know if they know if Joel's there, but about to go up in there and do something. Abby has a very sinister look. One thing I want to touch on too, Abby's casting. I don't know about the actor's ability, but I don't like that they didn't cast her to be like swole. I'm not saying that because I'm being mean. I'm saying that because Abby being swole and more masculine like is like a key part of the character. It's like one of the main characterizations. She's not like a girly girl. She's very brutish, very hard and very broken. But she has a heart deep down. And them casting the skinny girl just doesn't make much sense to me yet. But I'll see what they have cooking. Now, this video is like, I think over 20 minutes long at this point. So, let me quickly touch on the controversy part and get my 2 cents on that. But that was the actual episode review. And editing me put the score right here. Add a sound effect. So, yeah. That was the actual episode review. I want to quickly touch on the controversy. This very unfortunate controversy. Okay, listen. Do I think Bella Ramsey is kind of miscast as Ellie? I think there could have been better choices. But just because she doesn't look like the little kid from the game does not matter. Like, Pedro Pascal does not look like the Joel from the game. But Bella Ramsey here, I thought for what she did in season 1 was pretty cool. She brought the spunkiness. It definitely felt like a very different Ellie, an off Ellie, just because of the look and the voice and everything. It felt like a very different and off at first. But now that we've gotten kind of used to it, I'm not really bothered by it that much anymore. I was at first. It was just a little distracting. But now it's okay. And I think she does a decent performance as Ellie. She brings like a lot of that spunkiness. And when the serious moments come, she does that pretty good. And the relationship with Pedro Pascal is pretty believable and cool. In season 2, though, I am slightly worried. Like I said earlier, with her aging up and stuff, I don't think they pulled it off the best they could have. But how could they? Like, you can't transform real life aging. But like, this is like a more serious, like down to earth Ellie. But this version is still like spunky teenager, feels like. And that's mainly where the controversy comes from. She doesn't look like the game, and she doesn't give the proper performance. I think she gives a pretty good performance, because this is a very different thing from the game. It's like a parallel universe. The exact definition of parallel universe. Like, same but different, but very different. But, yeah, so thoughts on Bella Ramsey's Ellie? I like her. There could have been better choices, but I like her. That's all I'll say about this controversy. It's very unfortunate that she's getting the hate, though. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will be it for this episode 1 review. And it's called The Future Days, by the way. And hopefully I didn't miss anything, but if it did, just tell me in the comments or something. And I thought this was a decent start. It could have benefited from a 2-episode premiere. to kind of bounce off of it, but we don't know what the heck's gonna happen in episode 2. If you know, you know. But like, we're gonna see where this goes, because controversial games is already looking controversial. But I think I'm gonna let them cook. And that'll be it for now. Subscribe. Click the videos on the top left and the bottom left, and subscribe to me, and like the video, and do all that stuff. And bye.